Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be starting a reading vlog, which is something I have not done for ages on my channel, and I'm really excited. It has been a long time, and honestly too long. Today I am diving back into the world of the Stormlight Archive, which it's been a while. Like, I'm trying to remember exactly how long it's been since I read Oathbringer. I feel like it's been at least a year. I am going to read Dawnshard, which is the 3.5 very thick novella that belongs between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War, which I have down on my TBR shelf because I'm going to be reading that shortly. I've been sharing the rest of my journey with you guys, and I realized I didn't do Edge Dancer. I realized that I skipped Edge Dancer and that there were a couple of people that were sad about that, so I apologize, but I'm not going to make the same mistake with Dawnshard. I'm going to read this and I'm going to vlog it, and it's going to be awesome. I don't know where to hold this camera. You can see my beautiful, very messy bookshelves. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm actually kind of nervous to jump back into the Stormlight Archive. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a lot. It's a commitment, you guys. Like, Rhythm of War is gonna be a commitment, okay? You know it, because you guys have already read it. I'm like way late on the Rhythm of War train. So apparently this is starring a couple of the side characters from the Stormlight Archive. Navani, Dalinar's wife. This is the part where Tori does not pronounce the name correctly. Raisin is the other side character in this, and I remember her very vaguely. I'm gonna take you guys along in my reading journey for Dawnshard as we get started on the road back to Rhythm of War. So I will talk to you guys shortly. I actually looked up how to pronounce the name so that you guys don't have to listen horrified as I call her Raisin through the entire vlog. It's Risen by general consensus that I am seeing on the interwebs. So Risen is on her ship, and it says, eventually she rubbed her temples, her eyebrow jewelry tinkling softly, and decided to give it a few minutes. Now I realize that, like, that's a very small detail, but for me specifically as a reader, I'm a big jewelry nerd anyways, so like just the idea of eyebrow jewelry tinkling, and that's something that I really like about the details that Sanderson includes in his books, is that it really invites the reader to be a part of the imagining. I'm officially 13 whole pages into this book, and I'm already thinking about Rhythm of War and how much of a beast that's going to be, but one step at a time. Yep, so this is where I realized very quickly that I needed to read a recap. I remember a lot, but I'm also recognizing suddenly how much I don't remember as I'm reading through this book, because it has been a while, and I can immediately, rereading this recap on Tor.com is reminding me that in my very first vlog of Way of Kings, I said, I can see why people would want to reread this. If you have spent any time in between books, definitely recommend just running through a quick recap. Tor.com has a nice one, as I'm discovering. But it's really been fun to refamiliarize myself with the characters and just kind of catch my brain back up, because details are something that I struggle to retain. So it's good to like re-stick that in my head as I'm reading. We have Lopen. Like, I knew he was on the back cover. I don't know why I keep covering my face with this book. Anyways, we have Lopen. I legitimately very slightly fangirl squealed when I read the opening of chapter 3, because I'm a big fan of Lopen. I love him. He's such a derp in the best possible way. Okay, well, that chapter with Lopen was everything I needed to pull me back into the Stormlight Archive. There's humor in this saga, for sure. There's a lot of humor in this saga. But Lopen just brings this kind of like everyman quality to the book. You know, just the average guy who just is like, wow, this is all crazy. And there's kind of a simple joy that he has with the world and all of the things, and the fact that he's somehow a knight radiant, but he just was like, of course. His spren, Rua, is like most of the radiant spren combos are interesting because they're contrasts to each other. You know, you have Yasna and Ivory, who, like, they're closer, but they're still very unique from each other. You've got Kaladin and Syl, and then you have Shallan and Pattern, and then Lift and Wendell are just the most opposite cats ever, and I love that about them. Lopen and Rua are like, if Lopen was a spren, he would be Rua. It's so heartwarming, this bond that exists between Lopen and Rua, and I love them already. And I'm up to page 50 of almost 300 pages. I like Risen as a character, and Navani I have kind of mixed feelings about, but Lopen was a really great way to just yank me back into this world and put a smile on my face. Good morning, YouTube. My children are yelling in the background. I am back to Dawnshard, and I'm on about page 80, and everyone's on the ship. I'm loving the interactions between Lopen and Risen a lot, and I was gonna say too, I am noticing Brandon Sanderson has a very strong obsession with rocks, gems, and minerals, and metals, and that sort of thing, because you'll notice, like, in pretty much all of his books, they play a pretty major role. Like, you've got Mistborn, where the magic system is, like, completely based on ingesting metals. Spoiler. Then in the Stormlight Archive, you've got, even a lot of the creatures feel very, like, crustacean, rock-like, that kind of thing. So I definitely, I mean, you've got Zeth's, like, Oathstone, you've got the Fabrials and everything are all made with gems. Like, he is a rocks guy, rocks and metals guy, like crazy. Well, we all knew that was coming, because Sanderson, everything's going and things are happening, and then Sanderson's like, let me shake it up a little bit and do a quick reveal, and Nickley is a sleepless. I've always found the concept of the sleepless to be fascinating, and I think it's, like, honestly one of Brandon Sanderson's coolest, like, creature creations. I think they're really, really interesting. And I'm trying to remember, like, how much they've been featured. I know there have been other sleepless involved. I know there was one in Edge Dancer. Definitely was not expecting the perpetrator of all of these bad omens to be Nickley. And I loved the little conversation between him and the other sleepless, and this kind of hive mind style society culture that they have. Okay guys, so I am snacking as I'm reading. I'm snacking on these Parmesan garlic and herb chips, pita chips. They're okay. I know I'm not loving them. You really needed to know that. In the beginning, I liked Risen's character, but and I liked her in the previous books that she was in, but I didn't really connect with her as heavily, and seeing her going through these negotiations and her grit and determination to, you know, be heard and be a leader, even in the face of the fact that she is often looked down on or treated as fragile because of her disability. I'm really, the more I'm like, you know, however long that is, and I just really am starting to heavily appreciate her character. The way that she maneuvered the sailors' reaction to the bad omen of the Santhid creature washing up against the boat, that was really cool. I really liked the way that he wrote that, and that, to me, that's kind of a turning point in the novel, where before I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, this is cool, we're going along, we're going on a ship, and it's Sanderson, whatever. But now I'm starting to like really get invested in what's going on and being pulled back into the world, and Risen is really impressing me. Okay, so page 146. Lopen folded his arms as he sat. Will someone please explain how these wobbles are so entrancing? He gyrated his hips. They do look fun, mind you. The Lopen approves of wobbling. I can't with him. Can't take him anywhere. Also, though, I will say, like, his relationship with Risen is really precious, and I love how he's so incredibly supportive of her and understands her and is just cheerleading her. It's awesome. He just totally accepts everything that she is, and I think that's something that's cool about Lopen as a character, is with everyone he meets, he just accepts them as they are. Like, he doesn't expect them to be anything they're not, and he's just curious to learn about them, and I just think that's really cool. I am thoroughly engrossed in this. The island is so cool, and this whole, like, idea of it being a facade to hide the Oathgate and everything. And just one of the things that I would say that Sanderson does really, really well is this like slow build of tension through the book, and you almost don't notice it's happening until it starts getting really tense. I don't know if any of you guys have played Skyrim, but I played a ton of that game when it first came out, like tons. It reminds me very slightly sometimes of the Dwarven Ruins, in the sense that there's this like total fantasy world. Everything's very fantasy, very kind of Dark Ages or medieval. Then there's this technology that feels so futuristic and ancient at the same time. And I think that's the same kind of vibe I'm getting from Sanderson's world building in here. The Sleepless just landed on the deck of the ship, and things are getting real. So, true to Sanderson form, we're getting into the action at this point in the story, which is pretty predictable. So, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll finish this up. Good morning, guys, again. I am really tired and feeling a little under the weather today, so I'm going to sit in my chair and cozy up with some blankets. I really love that Sanderson is giving us little novella windows into smaller parts of the story, if that makes sense, because Stormlight is so epic and so big. Like, there's so much going on, and it's so huge that it's really nice to have like just these little complementary stories that are familiar characters, familiar world building, a smaller pocket of something in this vast story that he's created. And that was something I think post-reading that I also appreciate about Edge Dancer, which I read quite a while ago with Lift, who I have softened to, for those of you that are the Lift fans that are so upset with me that I don't love her. I have softened toward her quite a bit. I don't dislike her anymore. She's still not like my favorite character, but I think I'm starting to appreciate what she brings to the series more. So we love growth. Things are about to get very real because we are in the last little bit of the book, which, as we all know, is where Sanderson likes to dump 90% of the action. So I anticipate that this is going to be a crazy ride to the end of the book. I have officially finished Dawnshard by Brandon Sanderson. Final thoughts. So I was super excited to see Lopen and Huio both swear their third ideals and get their shard blades. That was really cool. I was expecting more intensity at the end than I was given. For me personally, I just thought that this was a really solid, fun read. I wasn't particularly wowed by any pieces of it. I liked quite a bit of it. I love Chiri Chiri a lot and her relationship with Risen, especially at the end, and this kind of foreshadowing of what she could become. And now that Risen is the Dawnshard, what does that mean? Like, what's that going to mean going forward for her and for everybody involved with her? And now the Sleepless are going to be more intimately involved in what's going on because they're going to be guarding Risen. And now Lopen and Huio both have shard blades. So, like, there's a lot happening in this small intermediary book between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War. I enjoyed reading it. I really liked it a lot, and I think it was nice to have something a little bit smaller and more digestible before I go into Rhythm of War, when I end up doing that in the near future here. So yeah, overall, it's a solid novella, and I think I enjoyed this one a little bit more than Edge Dancer, but in fairness, I think I would have a different experience rereading Edge Dancer than I did reading it the first time. So yeah, overall, that's my thoughts. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me on yet another vlog through the Cosmere, and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of the book, how you felt about the characters. What do you think? Everybody always has really great things to add to the discussion. So yeah, I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for joining me on my vlog, and I'll see you in the next video.